Order all your half-shell favorites for takeout or delivery. Visit www.halfshelloysterhouse.com to browse a familiar menu and place your delivery or takeout order in minutes. Same menu prices, just a $5 flat delivery fee every time at Half Shell Oyster House, located at 115 Lower Park Cove, Suite 105, Flowood, Mississippi, 39232, or you can give us a call at 769-257-7586. And oh yeah, tell them Sonya sent you.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonya, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Please welcome back my guys, former NFL players Cedric Donaldson and Jameion Spencer. What's up, guys?
Sonya, how are you?
What's going on?
Hey, first of all, we wasn't even supposed to see each other until August as far as this show. But as we know, sports is forever evolving. And actually, I wasn't even doing a show because it's, Memorial Weekend vacation. I was going to do a vacation. I got my vacation hair. I wasn't even thinking about a show.
But the braids are fresh. The braids are fresh. I'm digging them. Yeah.
Super fresh.
Yeah. Got the baby hair laid. I'm with you, mama. Okay. I'm with you.
My edges. I got edges. So, I just had to come on here to talk about what happened. Well, we'll get into that. Before we get into that, how have y'all been? I haven't talked to y'all since we did the show since February. So how have everybody been?
Good on my side. Everybody's staying safe, trying to, get another year under the belt. School has been taking over. Glad everything is winding down and looking forward to hopefully a nice, relaxing summer.
And Jamie, that's right. You said turning a year older. You got like 4 birthdays.
Woo! May is a death month for me, man.
It's a birth month.
Oh my God. I've got anniversaries. You're gonna have a graduation in there. I've got, Colin's birthday, JoJo's birthday, Deb's birthday, T's birthday. Oh yeah. May stacked.
Y'all having a party and everything.
Look, it's like the whole month is a party. You just you show up on a Wednesday, you go home sometime on Monday, Tuesday, and it's whatever's clever.
Well, I'll be there soon. I'll be there next week because I know you grilling. Seb, what about you and the family?
Oh man, it's good, man. May is a busy time travel-wise for the wife. That's when all the conferences and stuff are going on. And graduations in the family and stuff like that. So I'm down in Mississippi right now. Just came from a nephew's graduation. Like I said, single parenting with the kids, man.
So you daddy daycare. Okay.
Daddy daycare. On the road version of it. On the road version.
Are we there yet?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Hey, the biggest decision I have to make is whether to take them in the men's or the women's bathroom.
Please don't take them in the men's bathroom.
Look, hey, look, it's 2022, baby. Hey, it's wide open.
Do not do it. I'm so serious. So guys, let's get into it. I don't want to hold y'all long. I brought you on here today because your boy, Coach Nick Saban, made allegations against Coach Prime, saying that they paid a recruit $1 million to come to Jackson State to play. As we know, this is not true. Coach Prime, he actually responded and said it's not true. First of all, even and we know he was talking about Travis Hunter, which was the #1 recruit in that last recruiting class.
Yep.
Travis even responded and said, if I got $1 million, why my mama still living in a 3-bedroom house with 5 kids? So he has a small NIL, but we know it's not true. Anyway, first of all, the allegations are egregious and unwarranted. Coach Prime did respond and pretty much said that Nick did this to get the attention of his boosters. to get more money. This was personal for him. And he also threw Jimbo in there, dogged him
Well,
out and said,
it started off with Jimbo too,
it
right?
started off with
Started out
Jimbo.
with Jimbo. Yep.
It started
Yep.
out with
Yep.
Jimbo saying that he got all his people by NIL. So what are your thoughts on all of the allegations, Coach Prime's response, and Jimbo's response, pretty much about to, open a can of worms on Coach Saban? And I'll start with you, Jameion.
Man, okay. So I've kind of watched this whole thing play down, and I've got a problem with it on multiple levels. Well, I'm gonna put it this way: it was a blessing and a curse. Okay, I'm gonna say it was a blessing for one because it now opens the conversation that anybody who's ever been through a college program on any sport, it starts to unlock the conversation that many of us have had, because in that discovery in those last few years, if not months, of your scholarship time there, you start to learn a lot of things. You learn a lot of things about how the network and how the things operate that you hadn't necessarily seen in the past. And I think that's the blessing part of it. So this was the discovery, the disculpatory evidence in court that all of a sudden Nick decided to open up for us, right? And I think that a lot of parents, a lot of kids need to take heed and understand that the underlying conversation of this thing, it's problematic in that I think we're really starting to understand what a lot of these coaches truly believe about these kids, right? In that it's truly about the money. Here becomes my biggest problem that I have. NIL now has helped somewhat level the playing field between your Power 5 schools and your schools that are HBCUs, if not D3s, right? Mm-hmm. It's now helped to level the understanding from a resource perspective. We're able to help kids in a way that the rules and the NCAA has not in the past, right? Allowing those resources, allowing those name, images, and likenesses being beneficial for those individual students that has not been unlocked before. It's been taken advantage of for many, many years, and it's made a lot of generational wealth for all the wrong people, okay? If anybody knows, if you've ever gone or tried to get to Tuscaloosa, Alabama from anywhere, and don't get me wrong, I love Tuscaloosa, a lot of people in Tuscaloosa, I go through there all the time. I got a lot of respect for Coach Saban, but it's not an easy place to get to. It's not an easy place to function in when you're there. So it's not a such thing as a ton of industry that people can go get summer jobs and everything else and be able to make money to live off of when you're there, right? There is a reason a lot of people are going to Tuscaloosa, and not just because, they're going there because they absolutely love Alabama, right? Shannon Sharp hit it on the head when he said, look, it's now telling me that, hey, from a booster perspective, you guys need to play a bigger role in this thing, okay? The problem that I had in this whole thing is that his outrage about losing a kid or two to a program because of money just vilifies the fact that these kids are all about money. It had nothing to do with the character of the kid. It had nothing to do with the type of kid that you do or do not want inside of your program, right? It spoke all about just basically saying that, these kids are about nothing but money. They're all about ball. They want nothing else. Who's to say that Travis Hunter or whoever didn't go to the University of Alabama didn't have the interest in a curriculum that's there, right? Who's to say that from an engineering perspective, this kid was interested in having some engineering aspirations? And Jackson State has an engineering program that's a lot better than Alabama's program, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to look a lot deeper into that. And in my opinion, Mike Tyson kind of told us the whole thing. You really never know a person until you fight with them, right? You never know the character of a man until you fight with him. The moment Nick started guiltily splurting out and getting rid of his frustration and venting out on individuals, I think that is when we got a chance to see the true Nick. And don't get me wrong, as a football coach, I absolutely love what Nick Saban does. As an individual, I have red flags. I have a lot of red flags, because now if I'm going to send my kid, if I'm going to engage with Nick Saban, it's truly got to be about the dollars, then what makes sense versus me understanding that I'm entrusted my person, my family, my blood with you to be able to build a character of a young man. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I got a little bit of a glimpse of this a few years ago, hearing Nick in one of the leader casts tell a story about how one of his players handled being called some, derogatory or racist remarks by some frat students and got into a fight with some kids. And the only thing it really was about costing himself $1 million in a draft, right? And I thought to myself, like, okay, but that is society. We didn't say anything about, what this kid did or did not do wrong, how he benefited, standing up for himself as a man, or how we even taught or took that as a teachable moment to say, look, you matter as an individual to us, right? And we care about yourself. If you're gonna go out there and do it the right way, right? Let's focus on something more than the millions of dollars you lost in, now trying to go through disciplinary action and everything, because of the fact that everybody knows if I can coax you into something and I can cost you and it's benefiting me more than it does you, you're the one that's going to lose out, right? So for me, it kind of came whole circle. It came whole circle in that I'm looking at it now and I'm saying, hey, yeah, he is who we thought he was, right? He is that guy that, that does just care about how many of these guys I'm going to get in, turn and burn my program, benefit me. And then we're going to move on and figure out that next crop that comes in, they're going to help compete. We're going to make a lot of money off of them. And once they're gone, we're going to look at the next one. So,
keep it rolling and just keep
it rolling, keep it rolling. And then I'm sorry, I know I'm talking, I'm going to shut up here in a second. But the third thing I had a problem with, he's telling us that, without a lot of credibility and evidence, that this kid got paid $1 million to go to Jackson State. Does Jackson State even have $1 million in their budget?
Sir, no.
I mean, seriously.
Deion Sanders makes $300,000 a year. That means the boy will be making more than the coach.
And we know Deion ain't going for that. So, come on now. I mean, come on. I mean, we got to put some real feet to the fire when it comes to, how this thing is going to be handled. And I think right now, everybody's hitting the panic button. Everybody's hitting the panic button because the assumption is what's been done in the shadows for so many years is now coming into the light. Absolutely. And no one wants to get caught with their hand in the cookie jar.
Well, it's about to go down. Sid?
Yeah, it's going down. I'm on both sides of this. So first of all, let me say this. So Nick Saban, he was talking to his boosters, right? And he was trying to drum up, like, hey, man, like I've been winning all this time with this way, but the way I've been doing it is not going to keep working. Texas A&M just bought like every player on their team, which they did. I mean, they did buy every player on this team. Texas A&M is doing a little different than everybody else. Like LSU has a little, group of people that's putting a couple dollars in people's pockets. Texas A&M got money. Like they over there playing for real. Mm-hmm. And Nick knows if it goes that way, Alabama can't compete with them like that way. And so he loves to control like everything. So, but he was speaking out of two sides of his mouth. He was saying, both sides of his mouth. He was saying like, hey, this is going to hurt football. But I need y'all to get that money out so we can go and hurt football. You know what I mean? And I was like, what are you saying? Like, he's not saying like, hey, guys, don't participate in this here at Alabama because we don't want to hurt football. You know what I mean? He was saying, get all the money you can get, put it into this program so we can compete with these people that's going to hurt football doing it the way they do it. It was crazy. But all great people, I don't care what you're doing. If you're super great at what you're doing, like legendarily great, you selfish. And that's all Nick was thinking about, like himself. And he only threw Jackson State in there, I feel like, to say, dude, they got in the paper that Jackson State gave a player $1 million. What do y'all do? Like, you know what I mean? We not able to get, we didn't get nobody $1 million, but they saying Jackson State did it. So if y'all ain't doing what Jackson State doing, what are we doing?
Right. What you here for? Pretty much.
Yeah. Like, Yeah, what are y'all here? Because everybody in the room was a big time booster, you know. So on the flip side of that, I think what he did was benefit HBCUs, because then, you know, as players, you did start seeing yourself as a dollar sign. Like, you know, I'm just really a dollar sign, and he brag about getting me to the NFL, but I don't hear Nick say nothing about players that didn't make it to the NFL. You ever hear anything, Jamie?
Not one word. Not
I ain't
one
never heard
word.
him say, yeah, my players generated $100 and some billion, in the NFL.
Or better yet, how many of his players are CEOs, senior managers, directors inside of companies? How many of his players are, you know, developing their own funds out there, you know, pounding the pavement for the things that they cause and that they've learned? You know, I mean, it's like, look, if you ain't, you know, top 10 draft pick, you don't matter. You don't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so, and on the flip side of that, I really had a problem with Jimbo Fisher. Like, I think I might have had a bigger problem with Jimbo than I did with Saban.
Yep.
Because I saw through Saban. I was like, I see what you're doing. You know, I see through you. Jimbo was that hit dog that hollered. You know, because he went right to the heart. You know, Jimbo knows. Jimbo, he's been dirty. Like, Jimbo coached at LSU with Saban. He coached at Florida State. He was dirty at Florida State. He was dirty at LSU. He was dirty at Auburn. I mean, he's a dirty coach, and he's a big time liar. He's talking about, I don't lie. Well, he was supposed to be coming to LSU, and you know, sucking them up for the money, and then went to Texas A&M. You know, he told the kids that he recruited to Florida State, I ain't going nowhere, and I ain't never going nowhere. And then the next week he's gone. You know what I mean? So he's a habitual liar, and to see him get up there and act like he just walked on water, like he put himself in the God complex. I don't lie and I don't cheat. You've been doing it your whole life, bro. Come on, man. And so it was a lot, man. And Saban, I don't think Saban was saying what he did was wrong. I don't think he was I don't think he was accusing him of doing nothing wrong. But he was saying, like, he to his boosters, he bought his whole, and if we don't get no money up, and if that's the way it's going, you know,
you're not gonna get no good players, right?
Yeah. So it was a mess, man. It was a mess on both ends. But I think HBCUs came out on the top end of it all, especially the way that Deion responded.
Yeah.
He kept it classy. All he did, he pretty much gave Friday gave or Thursday, I think, whenever it came out, pretty much gave a scripture and gave him the word. That was it. And I appreciate that, because we know we got your feet at the fire. We got the fire at your feet. How you say it?
Got your feet to the fire.
That's it. We got your feet to the fire. And that's why, you know, all of this conversation is being said, but it was meant to happen. I don't think nothing is by chance. I think all of this was meant to happen. And so, but before I get into what I was about to say, before there was an NIL agreement, certain coaches and universities were already NILing. Am I correct? Yeah. They were already doing that. And this was before it was legal. Hush, Jamie. So because both of you are both from Power 5 schools, that's why I wanted to talk to y'all about this, because Jamie is from Notre Dame, Ced is from LSU. Were either of you offered incentives, or know players that were offered incentives from schools, or from your schools or any school during the time y'all were there?
Absolutely. You know, and you know, I'll be the first to tell you. I tell people all the time jokingly, you know, the recruiting process is something a little bit different. I mean, even you're talking about mid to late 90s for us. You know, it was different. It was very humbling to talk with people that you didn't know to tell you about everything that you were or were not to them, right? It was very surprising for me to basically understand that there was a set of rules, and then there was an unwritten set of rules that you function by. The way that people operated, the way that they communicated with you. And I would tell you, I was fortunate in my personal situation in that I had parents and a support system who told me, look, son, I mean, you have an opportunity of a lifetime, right? Take full advantage of it, but you never want to be at anyone's mercy. You would never want to be indebted to anyone. And that is a hard thing to be able for a lot of 18-year-old kids who are being told that the best thing since sliced bread, you're 8 foot tall and you're bulletproof, that you can't take that cash and those benefits and whatever the case may be. Or like Shannon Sharp said, look, when someone buys mama that microwave and their refrigerator, and then someone else said, you know what, we got to have a house to go around that microwave and their refrigerator and everything else. It's hard not to take those because you see what the immediate benefit is for the people you know and you love that are around, right? It's hard to say no. But the one thing you realize very quickly is that the moment you say yes, that's all it becomes about. That you weed out very quickly the conversations when people all of a sudden now start understanding you as that number sign versus you as that person that you want to be involved with their program. It becomes a very revealing process overall when you go through it all. And if you don't have the wherewithal and the mental aptitude to be able to look through some of the bull, you'll fall for it all. You'll fall for it all.
Sid?
Hey, man, just think of this, man. You're going through the recruiting process, and you got these grown men coming to your house, telling your mom and daddy, hey, trust me, I know what's best for your career. I'm going to get you on my campus, and I'm going to do the right thing for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of car you want? You know what I mean? Oh, it's against the rules. Don't tell nobody. But trust me, you know what I mean? I ain't going to cheat you, but I'm going to cheat these rules, you know? And it's like, anybody with common sense has to say, man, if you're going to cheat the rules and lie now, you're going to lie to me too, you know? So that's the way, the school that offered me the most, I'm not going to throw them out there, like, they was the last school on my list. Like, it was the last place I would go. So.
What did they offer you?
But it was, man, cars, cash. I mean, a car before I even signed. Like, go pick it up, drive it, and,
So what made
like
you stop it? Was it Aunt Lou? Did you talk to your parents about it? What made you not take it?
Nah, I mean, it was the same deal as it's something in me. Like, I guess it's parenting. Like, just it's the same. Like when you was going through the NFL process, the agents that came to buy you. Like, why would you want to go at that age? Yeah, I didn't trust it. Like, dude, if you think you could just buy me, you probably think you could just do anything with my career, whatever. So it was just something in there, and like Jameion said, I came from, my parents was all right. Like, I didn't need to go make money to take care of my parents.
Right.
Like, they was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but as to go back to to bring that to now, like with this NIL deal, I'm a capitalist, like for real. Like in real life, I'm a capitalist. I believe if you leave it alone, it's gonna come to the middle at some point, right? Paying these kids before they get on campus is not a good idea, like at all.
Yep.
Because what are you paying for? You don't know what these kids are gonna do when they get to school. And I'm an NIL fan, but I always thought that part of it was dumb. But I just say leave it alone, because after a couple of years, you spend $100 million on this kid, and this one star come in and beat him out. The coach is not giving these players money, so they're not beholden to these players.
No,
you are.
No.
That's true.
And so Saban said something about that too.
Now I'm gonna tell you. So I'm almost along the lines that said too. So when it comes to the whole NIL deal, I'm like this. I don't think it's going to ruin college football, but I do think that it is money being thrown away, right? There are a lot of things that money could be going for. In my opinion, if you're going under a amateur agreement with any university, if there's money on the table for you, that's money needs to be put somewhere where you can't touch it until you're done, right? Until we understand what exactly this person is going to do. And then, we can call it whatever we want. We can store it however we want. But the whole thing is that, look, from an agreement perspective, right? You have to understand what you're walking into in order to be able to, not dilute the understanding of where you are in the process, right? Because what'll happen a lot of times, I think, is that now those blurred lines that have historically been there around what rules exist and everything else now kind of go null and void. They're out the window, right? There is nothing there that keeps a lot of these kids understanding where their place is in necessarily their own lives versus the rules that they have to abide by going forward, right? Where do I stand in terms of how many actual semesters do I have? What does my 1-year renewable scholarship truly mean to me? When I do decide to be able to take these steps from a financial perspective, how do I handle it? What do I handle it and everything else? Yeah, it's all good. It's all good and dandy. But how many of these kids, again, at 18, 19 years old, understand truly the long-term impact of that and being able to set themselves up for life, right?
Absolutely.
How many of these guys now are going to be walking out of there at 20 years old and thinking to themselves like, look, hey, I made $2 million just in that 2 years. I should be ready for my next 45 million, right? It ain't gonna always happen that way, So my thing is that, yeah, you need to basically take this whole collective thing and let's now redefine what truly being an amateur athlete truly is, right? You got nonprofit universities that are paying coaches a ridiculous amount of money as a nonprofit, and you're not paying these kids anything. What is actually that saying to us about the whole system in itself? It's flawed. It is truly flawed, right? So the NIL now really opens the conversation. When we talk about that grown folks conversation, it should now open up the conversation. Let's talk about, hey, $1 million coaches. No. You are now an amateur at a college level. We should pay you. We should compensate you accordingly, right? Same way we do with universities, presidents and everything else. You should be right in line with that, as well as these 1099 athletes, these contractual athletes that you've got sitting on your payroll that are making you this ton of money that should be compensated accordingly as well, right? That now null and voids the whole NIL discussion, and in my opinion, gets back to amateurism. And now we could talk about how you make that jump from being an amateur, learning what exactly it means to be a professional, and then moving into that professional ranks.
But see, remember, and I'm not going to stay on this long. Remember when we talked about the NIL when it all first started happening? It was after July when we spoke about it. However, I told y'all I never really agree. I agree with it a little bit, but I have a problem with paying kids. Like you said, I agreed, like maybe giving them a stipend every month from the NIL, and then putting the rest of the money up. So when they graduate, because like you said, everybody is not going to go to the NFL. Everybody's not going to go to the NBA, but at least if you got $400,000 or $500,000 sitting up waiting for you when you graduate, that gives you a jump start on your life. And, and I know we want to help the families. I get that. I understand it totally, but it's getting out of hand because okay, for instance, what if we did give Travis Hunter $1 million? He's not really going to be paying, like wanting to do what the coach tell him to do. He got $1 million, and he, I can go somewhere else and play and get another $1 million. It's just, I don't know.
See, the thing about it is the way we set up in America, like we're a capitalist society, right? Mm-hmm. So once you decide to pay him, put it like this: say you got a kid that's a freshman, and he got a $500,000 NIL, and you don't give him his money, and a couple years go by, he want to buy a house near the campus or whatever, and by the time you give him his money, he priced out. Like the house is too much that's a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kind of, and so that's why it's hard to. They would have to sign off for you to keep the money until they graduate.
No, I was talking about the parents keeping the money, putting it in like a trust or something. No?
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't want to do that.
No.
Yeah, a lot of these kids,
their mamas have been, they've spent it all. So you still be in court. So
yeah.
I'm talking about like putting it in a trust, but giving them a stipend every month just to, have, about $2,000 a month or whatever, just like a little salary. So you can have some money, go out, do whatever. But I don't know.
Well, see, the one thing we always got to remember, no one's giving money for nothing, right? So even when these kids are signing these NIL agreements, there is an obligation that's there, okay? Mm-hmm. And that obligation a lot of times is coming from sources that are outside of football altogether. The conflict is going to come in that when that obligation now is going to supersede and force those kids to make decisions over football, class, and my financial obligations, right? Mm-hmm. That's where you're going to see the big struggle that's going to happen. And that is going to be this biggest diversion, right? When I say talk about putting it away, I mean, there are all type of things you can do. 403Bs, you could do IRAs, you could do Roth IRAs, you could do some type of account that's there, right? Mm-hmm. I think the original intent of the NIL was to concentrate when we actually go back to the source of it. When we talk about Ed O'Bannon and we talk about NCAA football and we talk about NBA, all these different games that people benefited on with these teams and these players. You know what? When you have jersey sales, then those jerseys go on sale and somebody gets hot and these people start buying up their jerseys. What's wrong with giving that player whose name and number is on that jersey a piece of it the same way that you would have to if you were using that jersey outside of those 4 years of school, right? What is wrong with royalties and patent and trademarks that are now forcing people to have to sign an agreement to say, look, if you benefit, here's my piece, and we move on. That's all it was meant to be, right? What it's turned into, again, because we're a capitalistic society, what it's turned into now is someone who has a very profitable car dealership saying, hey, I want you to come do a couple of commercials for me. Oh, and by the way, that commercial is going to be during this spring scrimmage, right? So, you can come shoot the commercial and then you can go do your spring scrimmage. Now I've got a kid that's distracted. And when he goes out there, those distractions are now going to eat into some level of performance, and you're potentially going to lose your career just off of those distractions.
That makes sense.
Yep.
That makes sense. Wow. So do you think other coaches are thinking like Coach Saban, especially believing we must pay, we got to pay Black athletes to come and play at HBCUs?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think a lot of those coaches can't fathom why anyone would go to an HBCU with second grade facilities, not as many resources, and play football, right? I think a lot of those guys are looking at it and saying, why would you go somewhere to struggle and not come to my school where I've got you a nutritionalist, I've got you private rooms, I've got you, you don't have to worry about and stand in line for books and scholarship. You're going to be catered to here. Oh, and by the way, when we travel, you're not going on a Greyhound across country. We chartering planes. I mean, there is a different lifestyle that we're advertising here for a lot of these kids. So why would you go somewhere where you don't have that, right? Because we assume that it's all about the greater comforts. Nobody's talking about like, look, I'm going to help develop you as a man. I'm going to teach you now what it means to end up moving from. But yeah, what's the difference now from building you as a character figure in this society and teaching you how to stand on your own 2 feet and enjoy those fringe benefits of what you're doing to reap them all in your name and image and likeness, versus now just saying, I'm going to put this red and white on your back to basically say, hey, you're a part of now an organization that's going to take care of you for the rest of your life.
said.
And man, the way they recruit against each other is, the arms race to what I got. You know what I mean? I got a better locker room. I got a better stadium. Every year, the money that they could be paying the players, like these people will redo a locker room for $30 million. In 2 years, they will redo that locker room again for $30 million. That's because they got too much money.
Mm-hmm.
They got money that they gonna get a coach another $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
They just got too much money. They don't know what to do with it. And when they should be trying to figure out how to make sure their players are, all right, for the ones that worked it out. But it's a hard sell for a kid, man, to go to one of these schools and see this, and then, you go visit HBCU. Now, when you get out on the party and all that kind of stuff, now it's gonna be hard to beat that HBCU. But when you get ready to go in
Travis Hunter, he went to homecoming.
Yeah, but he also had Deion.
Yeah.
He had the Deion effect, and not saying that Deion is like not that Deion was his favorite player, his mentor, and all that kind of stuff, right? But Deion lived a certain type of life. Like he's been rich, he's filthy rich. He got all kind of connections. If Deion came to my house right now, in the NIL industry, right? Who is a better marketer than Deion Sanders? Like,
Not many. Mm-hmm.
Not many. So if he came to my house and said, "Hey, Sid, you got a chance to come play at an HBCU in the days of NIL, to where I got all of these people I do business with. I'm finna groom you to do what I do as a corner." And he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna give up a couple of comforts from the beginning, but dude, I got my sons out here. You know what I mean? So you're gonna get treated just like my sons get treated."
Right.
Dude, I'm on my way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my way. And so Jackson State they got something going on that a lot of HBCUs don't have going on. But that's what other HBCUs need to be trying to jump into.
Exactly.
Because you can't put just anybody up there and say, "Hey, come play for me." And I'm like, "All right, so what else you gonna help me with? Like once this is over, like who you gonna connect me to once this is over?" And if you can't do it, I'm gonna have a hard time listening to you.
Yeah, but I think we had this conversation about 2 years ago when Deion took that job, right? When we talked about, are the HBCUs going to be ready? It's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game when you jump into big time 5-4-star recruiting versus what you've historically been doing. Right. And I do think too that the HBCUs, even if you don't have a Deion up there, right? Even if you don't, if you don't love it and you don't believe it, nobody else will, right? And you have to take advantage of it because, I can tell you, I've been to many HBCUs, but North Carolina A&T probably got some of the nicest facilities that you've ever seen around the country, but you've never heard of them, right? Because those guys have never stepped out that comfort zone to go say, look, I believe in my brand. I believe in what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do all I can to go out and get the best guys out there to come believe with me, right? It's all about a mantra. It's a big sales pitch to come and make those guys do it because, look, again, if I can't make you comfortable and make you understand that I am building something and I want you to be a part of it, I'm not doing my job as a recruiter.
You made a very, very valid point. The only two that I know that are like really marketing their schools in the SWAC, of course, Coach Prime and Coach Willie Simmons at FAMU. Those are the only two. The rest of them are not getting, and they need to get on the bandwagon. I heard somebody was like, "We don't need to do all of that and blah, blah, blah." Get out of your head. Stop thinking Deion is just an act. Now they're believing it. Now, first it was like, whatever. All he do is talk and be on. He know what he doing.
Yeah.
Your coach need to do the same thing. It's not about trying to be seen. This is a different world now. It's a different society, and these kids stay on social media.
Yep.
And
well, look, I'm gonna add a third person to your list. Eddie George of Tennessee State, right?
Yeah.
Look, they're going to play Notre Dame next year. Yep. First game, because him and Marcus Freeman were teammates at one time, right? So he's going to exploit that relationship. If I'm at Tennessee State, if I'm going to play in that stadium, in that historic stadium that I've heard about, why would I not use that as something to say, look at what we're doing. We're coming to do big things. We're finna blow the top off this thing. Come be a part of it, right? And then at the same time, I'm going to help you and groom you to understand where I've been, what I've done, and teach you how that rolls and how I got over those challenges and it's going to make it easier for you too.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Go ahead.
I think the biggest thing though, outside of the coaches with HBCUs, and I know we're still talking about the NIL and all that kind of stuff, but outside of the coaches, man, the presidents, the people that run these HBCUs, they got to get away from that old way of thinking. We need to raise money for the biology department. We need to raise money for the engineering department. We need to raise money for the whatever English department. Put that money in your sports programs, man. You couldn't pay for that marketing that Jackson State is getting right now on ESPN. You know what I mean? Like they couldn't afford it.
Say it. We stay in people's mouths, and I mean, it had died down for a second, and now here it is again, because one of the biggest coaches of all time said something about us in a booster meeting.
Dude, got people from all over the world talking about
all over the world. Thank you, Coach Saban. You think you heard us, but you didn't, and that's what was beautiful about it.
Yeah, he helped it. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like if we, I think for years we've been ashamed to take advantage of what our diamonds are. Like I said, if athletes are diamonds, football is African. I mean, for real.
That's true.
It's the number one sport in America. HBCUs could have like firsthand. They should change their whole mindset. Like, hey, we've got to build our sports program, and our sports program is going to build our engineering department. It's going to build our geography department, our English department. Right. It's not putting athletics before academics. It's building the school, and we've been ashamed of that. Like we'd be ashamed to say, I'm gonna really focus on building my sports, because then it's the black people, all they want to do is play sports and be dumb and all this kind of stuff or whatever. But I mean that's what they doing. They coming to get all these diamonds and building their academic programs up. So
that is true. So you moving on a little bit from that, we know Coach Saban, he accused Deion in public, and he offered an apology, but wants to talk to Deion in private. Of course, Deion, and I'm glad he told him no. You talked about me in public. Let's talk about it in public. Why do you feel the reasons why he wants to talk to Deion in private? I mean, we don't know what he's thinking, but just ballparkish, what do y'all think he wants to talk to him about?
I think when it came out, he realized immediately when it came out that he had screwed up. And the first thing you're supposed to do is pick up the phone and give him a call. You know what I mean? And I understand Deion for not accepting it, but Saban was right to pick the phone up and be like, hey, whatever. But he should also go on ESPN or wherever, because this is too big to do on XM radio. Everybody ain't got XM radio.
Right.
You know what I mean? He need to go on ESPN wherever you get the most eyeballs. Good Morning America, whatever, and give that apology, man, because that thing skyrocketed. I mean, it went all over the world in 10 seconds.
Sure.
But I don't blame him for picking up the phone, though.
No, it's cool with him picking up the phone, but you need to also do it publicly too, because
Yeah.
that's where it started.
Yeah. So I think, I'm gonna tell I think him saying that, look, I need to have this private conversation because I think part of Coach Saban's frustration in this whole new era of college football is how do we truly transition into this, right? How do we truly transition into this and preserve that institution that we behold and keep sacred, okay? Because I think he has read some of the same or similar frustrations that even Deion has had about, the transfer portal and how things are arranged and, kind of the things that are going on now. Because, again, they're slowly losing that level of control over kids and their choices. So, I think he wants to pick up the phone to have that conversation and say, hey, tell me, let's talk about what truly is the problem and maybe unify our message to basically say, hey, it affects you on the HBCU level as well as me on the Power 5 level, right? And this is going to be, kind of those extremes that we're looking at from a recruiting perspective to say, what can we do systemically to help us to be able to regain some level of control in doing that. Almost to the point like, you're really wanting to get that the reins back on what you once had that now you don't, right? And I think, in doing that, you're going to scream, you're going to scream because like you said, now my tactics aren't as effective as they once were. My methods that I was able to get away with for so many years, now everybody's doing it. Everybody's the cat's out the bag, right? And now I got to herd these cats back in, and I don't quite know how to do that, right? That makes him extremely nervous. And if anything we know about Coach Saban, the moment he feels like he's losing control, he loses his junk, man. He's out there and he doesn't quite get it, right? He doesn't quite get that. And we can say what we want, but as brilliant of a football coach as he is, the part of it that we're starting to see again, the reason why he didn't make it into the NFL in the way he did is because that level of control with the players on a day-to-day, month-to-month, week-to-week basis, when he starts to lose that, he feels like he loses his process. And when he loses his process, that destroys his whole ability to be able to think through the chaos.
Interesting.
And just think of this now: you got a booster that paid a quarterback $8 million, just saying, like the Tennessee kid, and then you got a coach that's starting to dwindle down, not treat this player right, and this player get ready, want to leave. And whether you know it or not, man, these boosters got to make a decision because they're in charge of keeping the coaches too. I mean, I know, so now the coach got to be like, hey, should I play this quarterback to keep my job? Or so it's a lot in that. I want to say this too. Nick Saban, for the last couple of weeks, he's been getting blasted for tampering. Ain't nobody talked about the tampering since he said that.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I hadn't heard one word.
Look, because it's what you've been used to doing all these years. It's no different than last year, the year before that, different. 10 years ago. I mean, look, this is what we have done. But now that, our hand is caught, the lights are on, then we got to say, hell, well, it's not what it looks like, right? It's not what it looks like,
That's true. So do you think Aflac marketing team should get into this because conflict sells? Do you think they need to because we already know that they got a few commercials together, and I think, but I don't know why I was shocked. I mean, people gonna be people, and I'm like, they was doing commercials together. I thought they were friends for real. You know me. But do you think? I know.
That contract brings your bond, not necessarily the fact that you
exactly. I don't know what I was thinking. But do you think the Aflac marketing team need to jump on this conflict right now?
No, I think they sit back. They getting everything they ever want. You see how many Aflac commercials popped up when this happened? I mean, they getting what? Yeah, they getting.
Yeah, they're getting what they want. It's the Jim McMahon effect. It's the WWE effect. Look, the more boos I can get, look, any publicity is great publicity, and bad publicity is the best publicity, right? Look, if I can keep that drama going, of course I'm gonna take full advantage of it. Look, I mean, and it's a matter of opportunity for anybody. But no, if Affleck doesn't need to be in it at all when it comes to that. But I think too that that's part of the distraction. We as fans, as parents, as coaches need to step back and say, hey, is this what we truly want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it that we are now getting out of understanding truly what keeps the purity of our game intact, in terms of everybody saying I love my school and blah 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 blah, versus saying I love my player that's at my school, right? I mean, it's a hell of an argument that people have, and the moment we allow big business marketing and all that stuff to creep into that conversation, you might as well throw the names of the school out of it, because then it's truly just going to be about the business.
That's true. Well, I know where I will be October the 8th. That's my mom's birthday, but that's also the day Texas A&M plays Alabama. I will be in front of my TV because that's going to be must-see TV. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting.
Hey, if you like bloodbaths, it's going to be interesting. Alabama is about to beat Texas A&M by 75.
By how many points?
75.
75.
70.
Yeah.
Look, 45, 45.
Wow. Well, I'm going to be there regardless. I want to see. So before I let you guys go, we're in NBA season. NBA playoff is going on, and we got 4 teams left. Dallas versus Golden State, and Heat versus
Miami and Boston. Yeah.
So as of now, the recording today, I'm sorry, y'all. In this time of the taping, Golden State is up 2-0 in the series, and the Heat is up 2-1. So each of you, who do you think gonna win on both West and East, and who's gonna take it home?
Man, can we go conference at a time?
Absolutely.
Look, I got to save the East for last. The East is hard for me.
I know that's a lot.
So I tell you what,
it's not over for Dallas. Let's
no, it ain't over for Dallas. I've been very impressed with what Dallas has put together, and I mean, Luka is a star. Spencer Dinwiddie. I mean, all those guys on that squad. I mean, you see the dogs come out. I mean, you see those guys playing hard. Finney Smith and those dudes. I have all the respect in the world for Dallas. I think Golden State's championship caliber and their environment is showing why they are who they are, right?
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you that I don't like Golden State in that series, because they are staying cool, they are staying calm, no matter how bad it is. I mean, look, the other night they were down by 15. I went to the bathroom. I came back. They were up by 3. Right? I was like, Jesus, how quickly did that happen? But you can see how cool, how calm, how Steve Kerr is his championship DNA is embedded into that team. I think they'll come out of the West overall, but I think Dallas is one that we need to look at for next year as being able to make some clean sweep. They just need 1 or 2 more pieces to help them put it all together. But yeah, I think Golden State will come out the West.
Okay, East.
I don't know, Sid. You want to go with that one?
Well, Say gotta still do West though.
That's right. That's right.
I'm gonna go State in the West. He's exactly right. I'm not betting against back when it was them versus LeBron, I hated them. But now they ain't playing LeBron, I'm cool with it. So yeah, I'm going with Golden State. I like Luka. I like Dallas. I like all that. But man, you get them yellow bones out there, man, and they got all them. Yeah. I ain't betting against some yellow bones unless they play LeBron.
They unite like Wonder Twins. They don't mess around. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm well. I'm a Dallas is my second team. I've been singing for them for years, and I really would have loved to have seen them. But I'm like you, them Yellow Bones, when they get together, them three, like you said, you went to
Boys,
the bathroom, they was down by 15 and then was up by three. Them threes, they can shoot them threes like in their sleep.
like it's
From
nothing
anywhere.
And
anywhere.
so it's just, I don't know. I'm still. I think we got a chance to win tonight. That's what I'm hoping. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. East, Jameion.
Whew. So the East. I've been on the Boston bandwagon probably since All-Star break.
Mhm.
I like what Jason Tatum.
I
I
love him.
loved what Marcus Smart brings to the table. I like Boston as a team, right? Especially as they're now that you can see they're coming in. Miami to me has been the pit bulls of the East, right? They got a team full of dogs, scrappy dogs, and they come to bring it every night.
Every night.
Without Jimmy Butler, right? Because Jimmy went out with his knee, and they had some guys step up for that game. But I think without Jimmy, that now helps to minimize their options somewhat, and the game plan somewhat changes. So without a healthy Jimmy, I think Boston edges them out.
Yeah.
So who? Go ahead, Sid.
Yeah, I'm hoping Boston wins. But man, I love to see Miami play, man. Like, I got a little man syndrome, and I feel like that's what Miami play like a bunch of midgets. They just be out there clawing, scratching. I mean, I'm for real, man. I cheer for the little man. And I know you look at Jimmy Butler, I forget that he's 6'7", you know what I mean? Like, he's a big dude. But man, he just plays he's so feisty, man. I love it, man.
He really is. I miss him playing for the Bulls, but you're right. He really is.
Yeah. I couldn't believe we did that. But I'm going for the Celtics, man.
Okay.
I don't like Spoelstra. I don't know why I don't like him, but I just don't like Spoelstra.
Don't like Spo?
I don't like Spo, man. I don't know why. I ain't got no reason. I just don't know. I just don't like him. I don't know.
Well, I'm not supposed to really like Boston at all because of the Bulls, but I started liking them when KG, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, played with them, and they won in 2008. However, I love Jason Tatum. Oh my gosh. One of my favorite, my top 5 young players, him, Jay Morant, that's my dude.
Yeah.
That is my guy. Jason, Jay Morant, Trey Young, Luka, of course. What's my baby? I can't pronounce his name. The little Greek boy, Milwaukee.
Oh, Giannis?
Oh, yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Yeah.
Giannis kind of old though, man. We can't.
I mean, but he's still young. I mean, he's still
he's young.
He's
He that new breed.
What you say?
I say he's part of that new breed.
Yeah, he's a part of the new breed. But those are my top 5 young guns. I love them. So I'll say Celtics out of the East. I don't want to say about the West. I just don't want to do it. But who do y'all think gonna take it all? Who do y'all think gonna take it all?
Go and stay by 50.
Get on my nerves. So
I'm telling you, can't nobody if they stay healthy, you can't.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get 1 or 2 games, you might be able to hang in there, but them boys start shooting, they get off the plane.
Yeah. Look.
Jamie,
Look, and I feel like they just hitting their stride too. Look.
Wait a minute, Jamie. He said they start shooting when they get off the plane.
As soon as you get off the plane, just firing them up, man. Look.
You so silly.
When they was playing LeBron, man, I used to bet against them, just with my heart, not with my mind. In my mind, I knew what was about to happen, but my heart, I'm going with my boy. Which is why I hope I feel bad for what LeBron did to Jason Tatum and Brown, all them, So I'm glad they're getting a chance to get to where they need to be and not have to go through a LeBron. But they're not gonna win it playing against them Yellow Bones.
No, I agree. I agree. Well, guys, before we go, we got to play. You can get with this and you can get with that. Um, just a game I played to let me and the listeners know the guest better. So I ask you a few questions. You answer which one that best fits you, okay? You, and I would love to see both of y'all, either one. You prefer singing or dancing?
I'm MC Hammer, Junior.
Look, I want to be a singer at heart, but I know I ain't there. So look,
Yeah.
I want to see y'all dance so bad.
just boogie. I just boogie.
Yeah.
So
Junior, man.
you said what?
MC Hammer, Junior.
Goodbye. So, Memorial Day is coming up, and I mentioned earlier Jay gonna be grilling. Y'all prefer burgers or hot dogs?
Oh, burger.
Yeah.
Buns, pickles, lettuce, cheese. Put that patty in between. It's burger. It's burger.
Burger.
Look, I'm all with Team Titans. Give me that
I've
burger.
never heard that before. You rather cook dinner or do dishes?
No, give me. Ooh.
I probably cook.
I'd rather do dishes.
Yeah, give
I
me
mean,
the
who
cook.
you doing the dishes after though? Like some people mess up. Some people just mess up everything in the kitchen in the name of cooking.
Like on Boomerang, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I clean and cook. I cook and clean as I go. So I'll be washing, while
Yeah.
Well, if it was you cooking, I would rather wash dishes.
Yeah. What if you had to pick though? Cooking or cleaning?
No, I'm cleaning the dishes. That's what I'm saying. While they cooking, when they throwing stuff in the sink, I'm just washing. I don't want to do it later.
I cook.
I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I'm because as much as I would say I'd love to cook, I ain't gonna help but to clean. So man, I don't know. I don't know.
Look how he looking
Don't
up.
know.
Thinking out like, Lord help me. Gotta pick it.
Just say cook, Jameion. I like.
Okay, I'm gonna go cook.
Okay,
I'm gonna go
thank
cook.
you.
I'm gonna go
Like
cook.
I said, I sound like
I'm still struggling with it in my head. Like
I
I
know.
can't.
Do you prefer the zoo or the aquarium?
Brother aquarium. Growing up in Jackson. Growing up in Jackson, man, I only had.
Don't do that. First of all, our zoo used to be bomb when we were kids. Don't play that. I saw you on the train when I was on the train.
I thought it was bomb when we were kids, and then I got grown and saw a real zoo. And I was like, man, we had a chihuahua in the lion cage. That wasn't even a real lion, man. Hey, the train was fun, though. I love the train.
A chihuahua. Hey, Simba.
Yeah, man, for real.
Oh my God. Okay.
Getting to see a real zoo, I was like,
You're right.
Ooh.
Because when I moved to Dallas and I went to Fort Worth Zoo, I was like, what the heck have I been dealing with all my life?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I love it. I love it. I love
can't
it.
stand you. Jamie, oh my gosh, I missed y'all.
I'm gonna have to go zoo. I'm gonna have to go zoo. I'm gonna have to go zoo.
Jamie, so Monroe had a nice zoo?
They had a decent zoo at one time. It's a little outdated now, but I prefer the variety in animals. Going to see the oversized chihuahuas and because I tell you this much, Sonia, one of my biggest fears in the world are whales. I don't like whales. So every time I go to an aquarium, as much as I love the aquarium and being there, when I go into that big tank and I'm looking at, I just think about there's gonna be an orca to come just rolling through here and it's gonna freak me out. And I got the roll at that point.
So you out of there?
Okay, I can't. Look, I'm gonna have to tell you my story about SeaWorld as a freshman one time. Yeah, it was one of the more frightening experiences in my life, man. Talking about grown man about to pee on himself. I was there.
Are you in the office tomorrow?
Yes. No, I won't be in the office. Call me.
Said I was like, come and tell me then. Mexican food or Asian food?
Ooh.
Asian.
Jesus Christ.
Thai.
Asian, which one? Say
I'm going with Thai.
Oh, Thai. Okay.
So the sophisticated adult in me is gonna say Asian food, but I don't know, man. It's hard for me to walk away from a lot of Mexican food.
I ain't lying.
Ooh, man, because they get down like us.
But now we do love hibachi.
We do.
We'll go to lunch for hibachi. I love hibachi. I can eat that. But I'm a Mexican. I'm a black Mexican actually.
Mexican.
I'm black. I'm telling you, I can eat it every freaking single day.
I'm black in because I eat Thai every day. I like spicy basil chicken, fried rice, extra egg.
There you go. He got it.
Okay.
He got the GOAT, the greatest order of all time.
15 minutes. Y'all, you prefer a cruise or a road trip?
Road trip.
Yeah, I'm going road trip.
Road trip. Too many whales out there on the cruise. I can't.
Yeah,
I've never been on a cruise, so I don't know.
Neither have I. We're supposed to go with my sorority sisters for our anniversary next year. So
they're nice. You'll enjoy it. You won't know you're on the water, but the road trip. Give me a road trip any day.
Yeah,
it's too much. That's a lot of adventure, a lot of fun.
New Edition or Boys to Men?
New Edition. New Edition. Yeah. Hands down. Love Boys to Men. No respect. New Edition though.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheetos or cheese puffs?
Ooh.
I'm a Cheetos girl.
Salt and vinegar. Salt and vinegar.
He went chips. He went straight chips.
No, sir. I said Cheetos or cheese puffs.
Both of them got cheese and
you don't like cheese?
It just don't do a whole lot with don't act right with cheese.
So neither for you.
I would say if I had to eat one, I'll probably eat Cheetos because the puffs they melt in your mouth.
I don't like that.
It's a little weird.
Cheetos.
Yeah. Ozark on Netflix or Breaking Bad?
Woo! No, you know what? I'm anti-Ozark now because they killed Rico.
I haven't seen this season, the last season part, the last six.
I'm sorry. Let's skip over that one then. Let's skip over that.
I'm going to Ozark.
I'm starting it tonight though. Don't.
Oh my God.
So between Ozark and Breaking Bad.
Ozark.
I won't look at another season of Ozark. I'm done with them.
It's over. This was the last season.
That's okay. It's good because I won't even watch a replay of them. I'm so done with them. So finished. And I ain't gonna tell you why. Somebody
was saying something. Whatever happened, somebody mentioned it on Facebook yesterday, and I had to hurry up and scroll because I was like, I don't want to see it. So I gotta hurry up and watch it because people are talking about it.
I was about to break this pen as soon as you said that. That's how mad I was.
Don't.
So Breaking Bad. I'm gonna go Breaking Bad. Walter White.
Last but not least. Oh, and I don't. Breaking Bad fans. I don't know if y'all watch Better Call Saul. I love that show. That's a spinoff. But this is the last season for that as well. Last but not least, Vivica Fox or Lisa Ray?
Lisa Ray.
Like Vivica who?
Well, why y'all make the same face?
Damn.
Why y'all make the same face though?
Make your money, don't let the money down.
I just watched that the other day. Oh God.
Yeah, so like we were saying,
Like, we'll be back to you in the regular.
Make that money. Don't let that money make you.
I'm sitting on these pillows so I can be up and they came from under me. Oh,
Hey, just to let you know, you went down slow motion.
But say, look,
Yeah.
look, I
It's like the Titanic.
look, I thought Vivica came over there and kicked them things from under you. Can't put her in that same category. What's wrong with you?
Oh God!
She came,
Wait a minute!
came through there like Miami style.
Oh Lord! Oh, that was hilarious! Oh my gosh! Okay, wait. All right, so that's a first. Well, so Jim once said I felt like the Titanic.
It was slow, man.
I heard it was that music, that slow music.
Yeah. I think it started for a while, and then you said, "Oh Lord."
Oh God, I can't stand y'all. Okay, so y'all choose Lisa Ray.
Yeah, yeah.
Fine. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Please follow me. And She Say Sports on Facebook. She Say Sports 23 on Instagram. At She Say 23 on Twitter. And please subscribe.
Thought we heard some Snoop in the background. Drop like it's hot.
Can't stand them.
Something like it's hard.
Oh God. Please subscribe to our YouTube page. Well, that's my show. That's my show for now. Until next time, this is Sonya with She Say Sports. This was hilarious. Peace. Oh my God.